Gentlemen, flow state, the optimal state of being for human consciousness. Why is it important to the gym? I'm so glad you asked. Getting into flow state, learning how to consistently tap into flow state while training in the gym will reduce friction, increase consistency, and turn your lifts into some of the most enjoyable experiences of your entire life. In this video, we're going to be talking about what flow state is, how you can consistently tap into it during the gym, and then maximize your progress, get more gains, and enjoy the gym as a whole. Flow state is known as a state of consciousness, as being in the zone. Many of you who are athletes or gamers are very familiar with how flow state works because you've had those moments where you are in the gym, you are playing your sport, you are in the zone in a video game, and you are just so locked in. It's that point of being where time seems to flow utterly different than normal. You are so immersed completely in the moment that you don't think about anything else. You're not worried about what's going on in the future. You're not worried about what's happening in the past. You are right there exactly in the moment where you need to be. That is what flow state is. I'm sure you have experienced it a couple times in your life, unknowingly, but you have experienced it. What that means is that it's something you can consistently tap into. And that is what we're going to be discussing during this video here. It is one of the most powerful things when you consistently get into a mental flow. Your brain, that is the optimal state of consciousness. Now, let's kind of define flow state. What is it? Well, the best scientists have described flow as the task at hand is slightly more difficult than the skill that you currently have. The reason why we tap into flow state is because it requires our entire complete presence, our entire focus to actually accomplish the task at hand, to be proficient in the task that you're currently working on. That is why it's slightly above your ability to work on that task. Flow state does not happen if a task is too easy or too difficult because it pulls you out of the present moment. If something is too easy, you're sitting there and you're like, well, I'm not having any fun doing this. This is not requiring any of my effort. If it's too difficult, the task is so beyond your capabilities that you're completely stressed about actually accomplishing the task in front of you. So flow state is just right in the middle of something that is just outside of your reach, but maximizes all of your skill set to try and increase your ability just a little bit more to accomplish that task. That is why flow state and the gym go hand in hand perfectly. When you are training with a bodybuilding focus of increasing the difficulty every single time, consistently, lift after lift, that is where flow state goes hand in hand with it perfectly. The gym is a perfect example of, hey, tomorrow I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna try to do just one more rep. I'm gonna try to add 5 more pounds. I'm gonna try to lift a little bit longer. I'm gonna improve my form just by a little bit. Those little improvements combined with the idea of training in flow state go hand in hand perfectly. Now, if you are watching my channel for the first time, all of these concepts that I'm going to be discussing here are the core concepts and pillars of my minimalist training approach. So if that's something you're interested in, check out the first link in the description below and see my full-length training program. If you join now, you'll be one of the founding members. Great. With that addressed, let's jump into the actual specifics. The reason why we want to be hopping into flow state is because it boosts your gym performance. Boosting your gym performance, your actual output, will make the overall process more enjoyable. Flow state is not going to make you infinitely stronger. It's not some final form you can tap into to become the ultimate Demon Slayer core like anime character. That's not what flow state is about. Flow state makes these gym lifts phenomenally more enjoyable. It creates the friction of having to go and lift heavy. It takes that friction away. It brings much more presence, enjoyment, and fulfillment during your lifting sessions, which in turn, this will give you more gains because you're going to want to be coming back to the gym. Over and over again, flow state is meant to bring you back to the gym, make it more enjoyable, and in some aspects, it will boost your performance in the gym, the actual ability of the weight and the capabilities of what you're doing in some marginal areas because it's an optimal state of your brain, which therefore will give you some optimal lifts. So let's talk about a step-by-step process you can actually implement, take action on. So next time when you head into the gym, you can use these concepts to make your gym lift more enjoyable. Number 1, crucial step, breath work, focusing on the breath. Now, just before this video last week, I released an entire breathwork guide. So we're gonna go over just the crucial steps that you need to understand on how to breathe properly in the gym. But if you find that concept interesting and you wanna see a full-length video, check out the last video I posted. But for now, kick back and listen to this video. Breathing is the foundational piece to staying focused. Breathwork, it's so powerful. How do we actually use this in the gym to get into flow state? Here's how it works. Breathing into the nose and out through the mouth. That is our baseline piece to work off of. Now, breath work is the foundational piece to mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment, not worrying about what's in the future and not stressing about what's in the past. Breath work is the thing that brings your thoughts into the exact moment. And breath work is very powerful and useful when you're training in the gym. Those of you who haven't learned this yet, when you breathe properly, it builds a postural defense to not cracking under the weight. So if you're doing a heavy squat and you're not breathing properly, you don't have the support to allow your spine and core to withstand the weight that you're currently under. When you're lifting heavy and you're not breathing properly, you can actually injure yourself. There's very real science behind this. The best way I can illustrate this is imagine an empty soda can, okay? After you pour all the liquid out, you finish drinking it, whatever. You can crush that can so easily because there's no resistance inside of it. But if you take that same can and you have it completely filled up with liquid and you haven't opened it yet, try crushing it. I don't think there's most humans on the planet that can squeeze it so hard that it explodes. It's very difficult to do that. That same concept is true with breathing. Now, when you breathe in, it's the exact same thing. You're building that interior defense, that postural defense that allows you to handle heavy resistance, whether that be benching, whether that be deadlifting, whether that be squatting, pull-ups, all those things. Breathing creates that, I like to call it a defense because it truly does allow you to withstand higher forces on your body. So, how does this relate to flow state? Now, I'm going to talk about the portion of focus. Breathing allows you to focus more intensely. As we're moving through our lifts, you want your breath to be pushing and leading the lift as it continues. I like to imagine bench press is the best way to illustrate this idea. As you're pushing up your bench press, the barbell's coming off of you. I want you to be exhaling with focused intensity. Just like that. As that barbell is moving, it's almost like your body is just getting into this sequence, this rhythm, and your physical movements are connecting with your mind, and it's all this like intensity right in the moment. It's bringing you to the center moment. You're beginning to immerse yourself into the exact moment, and that's the point at which you start to get into flow state. Makes your gym lifts more enjoyable. You're gonna be more present. So focus on your breathing. As you breathe in, breathe out. Allow your lifts to move in tandem with that. Your muscles are going to need oxygen anyways. Might as well make it more efficient by breathing properly and intensely. It's going to make your lifts go way better. Now, step number 2, being fasted. Not a lot of people like this idea going into their lift being fasted because they want to have carbs, they want to have protein before they lift. I personally like to lift early in the mornings. That's my favorite time to lift. The reason why I do that is because I am fasted and it allows me to be more focused. Now, again, we keep talking about total immersion, completely being focused. Being in a fasted state helps you gain more focus. The reason that is the body requires a lot of energy to digest and break down food. When you are not doing that, your energy sources are more available to your brain, which allows you to be more focused, which allows you to get more immersed into the actual lift itself. Now, if you are someone who likes to have carbs, protein, all that good stuff before your lift, you can skip this step, but test it out. I highly recommend it, giving it a try. If you lift later in the day, it's going to be more difficult because, staying fasted for a lift later in the day is hard, and that is why it leads me into the next step right here, lifting early in the morning. These two pieces go together. Lifting early in the morning, being fasted, is very powerful, especially as a man. And I'll explain why that's important in just a second here. But lifting early in the morning, it's the first thing of the day. Your brain has the most clear consciousness available because you haven't had any clutter come in yet. If you just get up, brush your teeth, and head to the gym, and bring your pre-workout with, whatever that may be, go straight to the gym. Your brain hasn't made all the other decisions yet for the day. There's complete clarity available for the lift. All of that energy is available to go into the lift, use it, and completely immerse yourself into flow state. It's going to make it way more enjoyable. It's going to give you the most mental performance possible to stay completely focused on the lift and allow you to tap into that flow state and make that lift much more efficient, much more enjoyable, and give you more gains over that long-term period. So being fasted, first off, allows you the extra energy source to immerse yourself into the moment because there's more brain power available. And then if you combine that with it being the first thing in the morning, you haven't used your brain for anything else yet. When you lift later in the day, you will have had everything else that has happened during the day, whether it be problems, good things, bad things, all that energy source in your brain has been pulled away. And when those things are constantly being yanked away, you have just a small reserve of mental energy left, and you're then going to use that last tiny reserve for the lift. There isn't much available. So that's why if you do it first thing in the morning, you have the complete immersion available to go into the gym and lift heavy. So the next thing is black coffee. I highly, highly recommend this. It goes hand in hand with being fasted, being the first thing in the morning, and black coffee. See, there's like a string that kind of ties all these things together. Black coffee is just the next step on top of that. Espresso, cold brew, drip coffee, any of those things, if you can get into black coffee, first off, caffeine is going to increase that mental focus. So again, we want to be increasing mental focus because it allows us to tap into flow state, which is the optimal state of human existence, human consciousness. It'll allow you to push more weight, be more focused on that barbell, whatever that may be, and then on top of that, you're going to stay in a fasted state of being because black coffee doesn't break your fast. So you're not diverting all this extra energy to digesting the caffeine source. It's going to go straight to your bloodline and boom, you're going to be completely wired. Okay, don't overdo it because too much caffeine is not good for you. But if you're allocating the proper amount and you're staying focused and it's first thing in the morning, you won't affect your sleep or anything, and you're going to increase your focus overall. And again, flow state is about being completely immersed in the task at hand. On top of that, lifting is perfect because it's just above your skill level every single time you go in. That's the point. So you're going to be completely immersed in the moment. You're going to be pushing more weight. You're going to have caffeine keeping you absolutely wired, and you're going to be fasted in the morning, using all of that mental energy to having the perfect execution of your lift. It is the best way to do it, especially as a man. The last thing I wanted to add on in this morning sequence before I shift into the final point, the morning sequence is really important because we're fasted. We are drinking our black coffee. We have that extra morning boost to our brain. And the reason why it's crucial as a man, I mentioned this earlier, to lifting in the morning is because of the testosterone boost that's available to you. Now, testosterone is a hormone that's not just ooh-ah. There's actual benefits to working with your hormone cycle. As a man, you have a hormone cycle on a daily basis. Compared to a woman who has a hormone cycle over the month, they kind of go through this over the month, right? As a man, you have that on a daily basis. You go through that up and down through the day. In the beginning of the day is when you're at your highest testosterone peak. Peak testosterone is between like 5 a.m. to like 8 a.m. After that, it starts to drop back down. So we want to work with that testosterone boost that you have available. Now, testosterone doesn't directly correlate to your focus levels being higher, but it correlates more to a motivation sort of hormone. It's the caveman way of putting this is that's like, I have to wake up and I need to hunt. I need to bring back a food source for the family so we can survive. I need to go out and provide for the existence of my tribe. So my testosterone says, hey, let's get up and we need to conquer in this moment. So as a man, when you're working out first thing in the morning, you're using that testosterone boost to give you that edge in the gym, to allow you to get more focused, to tap into your flow state, and to lift heavier more optimally and be completely immersed in that exact moment. So testosterone in the morning, again, it follows that kind of thread I'm talking about of being fasted, lifting in the morning, you have a testosterone boost, and you're using black coffee to all increase your brain function to have the most optimal lift first thing in the morning to tap into flow state. It's going to be so much easier to allow yourself to get into that flow state of being because all these added factors are giving you that brain focus and immersion in the exact moment. The final step to accomplishing ultimate, optimal being in flow state is the music that you're listening to. So you have to be careful with this. This is why I recommend listening to songs without lyrics, because yes, you can listen to some super motivating rap music, or maybe you listen to country music. I don't know, whatever your gym lift music may be. The problem is if you are listening to the wrong things, it's going to distract your focus and you're going to start dancing with the music, start nodding your head, and you're going to start thinking about the song and whatever that is, right? When you are listening to the wrong kind of music, it's going to pull your focus away. I always listen to music in the gym that doesn't have lyrics. I prefer songs that don't have lyrics because it gets me into a state of being where I am getting that extra energy from the song, that extra motivation from the music that's playing, but it doesn't have lyrics, so it's not distracting me and pulling me further away from what the task is at hand. Now, if you need an exact example of what I listen to, check out the Tron Legacy Ultimate Cut. I highly recommend listening to that for your next lift. Now, the music is very intense. For some people, it doesn't produce the optimal state of flow in their brain. For me, it does. And if you're like me, you might end up using that as your gym lift music going forward. There's no lyrics. There's an intensity behind the songs and the music that pulls you along and brings emotions into it, and it pulls you into this state of immersion. The music choice is very crucial, especially if you're using, sound noise canceling earbuds, headphones, whatever that is. It's going to block out more distractions and allow you to be focused and immersion. I'm talking about all things here. Every single piece of advice I've given you is about blocking out all of these side distractions and giving you more immersion, more focus. Flow state is about being completely immersed in the task at hand, being in the zone. This is exactly how you tap into the zone. So if you're having all that stuff, outside noises, outside things, or just even music that's pulling you away from the moment, you're not going to be as optimal in training and getting into the flow state. So that's why I recommend listening to the Tron Legacy soundtrack, because there isn't lyrics to distract you. There's just an intensity behind the song that pulls you into the state of immersion. So that's why I recommend it. But if you find that it isn't helpful for getting you into the zone, test around with music. Find some stuff that brings you into flow state. I recommend leaning into songs that don't have lyrics, or even listening to artists who you're not familiar with, because you won't be as distracted in singing along with the song. But you have to be careful. Test it out. It's different for everyone, but a good starting point is the Tron Legacy soundtrack. Give it a try. It might actually pull you into an optimal state of flow. So those are the things I recommend doing. Give it a try. Thank you for watching this video. I have one more thing to tell you, and this is very important, okay, before you head out of here. You've spent 17 minutes with me. You've listened to some of my ideas of how to tap in a flow state. No one's talking about these things. No one talks about flow state in the gym. So you have a piece of advice that's very obscure and not known in the gym world. Here is my offer to you. Now, I currently have my minimalist training program below. We are in the founder stage of the program. So for the first 5 to 10 people who join the program, I'm offering a one-on-one coaching call as well for a very cheap price. Joining the program gives you one-on-one direct access to me, which some people are charging thousands of dollars for that. So if you check out the first link in the description below and become one of the founding members, you will not have to spend thousands of dollars to join that program and have one-on-one time with me. So check it out. Click the first link in the description. Give it a try on these ideas here and see how it does for you. And if you can tap in a flow state, great. And if it works, drop a comment below. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you guys for the next video, and go achieve some greatness this week. Peace.